Hi, and welcome to this presentation of the Owlet tournament. Today you're going to be watching Burn versus Storybook villains, brought to you by Cal and the Zone.
Yeah, I'm the Zone. That's Cal. I'm very excited for today's match. We've only ever casted one other Owlet match, and it was Burn versus the Outcasts, I believe. I honestly don't remember the outcome of that match, but I do remember it being very fun to watch. It was if I recall, a very DPS heavy game. So I'm really, really excited to see Burn play again, to see what Storybook Villains has in store for us today.
Yeah, and we have some insider knowledge that maybe you know, maybe you don't. These two teams, heavy scrim partners during stage one, so I expect to see some more nuanced strategy come out, some more, hard reads on what the other team's going to play, and more fine-grained adaptation than you normally see.
Yeah, especially the fact that this is one of the first games that these teams are going to be able to play on the new patch. There's a few changes. You're probably familiar with them if you are watching this stream, but I'm going to go over a few of them that I know off the top of my head just to refresh your memory. Sigma Shield is a big one. Sigma now has a 1 second cooldown on his shield. It just makes it a little bit less able to flash his shield, to protect his team from incoming damage on like a burst. I think that's an important one. Orissa's shield got a nerf as well. The cooldown was increased by 1 second. And as an Orisa player myself, I can tell you, you can feel it. It definitely makes a difference. Doomfist got a nerf. There were a few other changes. Brigitte got changed. Winston got a little bit of a buff, which is nice. So all of that combined, I think, is going to give us potentially some non-double shield games, which I think everybody would be really excited about.
That's true. Double Shield has some exciting points if you are a Doomfist or Reaper main, and if you are an Orisa or forced to be a Sigma main like I was for a couple weeks, maybe you're looking forward to playing D.Va again or playing Winston again. In other news, though, teams haven't scrimmed pretty much any new strategies unless they were on PTR, and getting PTR scrims, at least in our experience, not super easy. So I'm expecting to see a mix of kind of old meta and whatever you want to say the new meta is, even though there's probably about 3 diverging opinions right now. So hopefully we see some interesting strategies, and not all double shield, but maybe some double shield as a comfort pick.
Yeah, I definitely think that strategy in particular, the comfort pick strategy, is widely underrated in a lot of Overwatch. Anything below Grandmasters and Masters, I really think that you can get away with a lot more comfort pick than people will give it credit for, because you're not as skilled at executing the combos that make a particular strategy very viable or inviable. So picking something like, I don't know, my favorite, Rein Zarya running into double shields is super viable when compared to the same composition run at a Grandmaster level or a semi-pro or professional level.
I agree, but it's a bit of a nuanced play, right? If you have the comfort pick, it's not necessarily good unless you also have the comfort strategy that goes well against the dive or double shield. But we'll cut the conjecture here as we go into map 1, which will be Lijiang Tower. Always love a good King of the Hill map. What do you expect to see coming out now?
I'm definitely expecting to see us some Rein Zarya. I mean, this is a map that was famous for Rein Zarya back when it was like right before GOATs really took off. Teams would see a lot of Rein Zarya played here just because of the nice angles for Zarya. She can hop in, get a lot of charge, and then hop out. Still be in those close quarters where she sort of excels. And then Reinhardt can get up there and swing. I'm really hoping we see that. I know I've said it a lot in the past 3 minutes, but I genuinely believe that's what we could be seeing here.
Well, turns out you're horribly wrong and nothing you said is relevant, because we've got Orisa main tank on both sides. And we see the double shield coming out from Burn. It's actually very similar to what we saw before when we casted Burn before. I believe it was Solnull then playing the Sigma. But I think we actually had a different main tank. So I'm interested to see how Bishop performs on the Orisa. Haven't seen much of them. But going into this, we'll have Orisa Hog versus Orisa Sigma. Nope, they bait us, and they'll both be going Orisa Sigma. And this is basically as close to whatever you want to call meta for the last patch was going to be from both sides. Mirror comp. Mini up here on white, big punch coming out to start that, and we'll actually see a Lucio frag finishing off that kill. And advantage hard here in favor of Storybook villains. And they're going to clean up this fight pretty quickly before the point unlocks.
And you can see Sharpshot there got a lot of ult charge. Sharpshot clearly doing a lot of that work there, getting in punches on some of the squishies, getting in punches on the tanks, building up a lot to that meteor strike, which, you know, if you're a skilled team, you can really get some stuff done with that meteor strike if you got it ahead of any other ult.
True story, but we've got a Mei pick coming out here from Burn, actually, maybe looking to counter some of the aggression. Big fight coming here. Good Mei wall, and that will be the end of side dev on the Reaper. Unfortunately, Bishop falls in the middle too, and another cleanup starting. All right.
Yeah, Bishop really wanted to get aggressive there and capitalize on that Mei wall. Unfortunately, the Mei wall didn't cover the entire side, the entire choke point there, and so the rest of Storybook villains just walked right around the side. It looks like we are going to a pause here. I believe that Burn asked for it, so we're not quite sure what that's about, but we'll just sit and wait and have a good time.
Yeah, so that was an interesting start. We saw kind of a commanding first fight take from Storybook villains, but it was mostly on the back of good aggression from Sharpshot to win, or Sharpshot to WN on the Doomfist. So you could consider it a fluke and, you know, give some credence to the Mei pick coming out from Burn. But then again, it was like another solid team fight win. So what do you expect to see out of Burn to try and adapt to the aggression that's coming out?
So I'm expecting them to continue trying to run with this aggression, right? So unfortunately, the reason for the pause was that Soul Null, one of the players on Burn, had to go for a router restart, which means that they had to disconnect from the game and lose all of their charge towards Sigma Flux. I'm not aware of what it was prior to the disconnect, but if you compare it to what Inaloco has right now, which is 75%, that is honestly pretty scary, especially when your Lucio, Big Muzzy, has only 50% to their ultimate. So this Flux is going to be coming in with some serious force. What I think is going to happen is, or what I think should happen, is Burn is going to take maybe a dry fight or two, use Liseki's Coalescence to sort of sustain and build their own ultimates, draw out hopefully that beat or the Flux, hopefully the Coalescence and the Doomfist Slam, and then come back in with their own bank of ultimates in what really will probably be last fight in order to win it.
That's true. Burn, being they will have Coalescence coming in for this fight pretty much no matter what, which definitely not as good as Beat encountering Flux, but can be good in encountering some of the aggression. Moira with Fade can kind of easily get out of any situation and line up to unleash the Coalescence for the burst healing, but they're going to be relying a lot on taking that kind of back pressure, maybe taking that extra sustain and turning it into some picks, because they're going to need it. The Doomfist has been punching into them, and you really see the kind of tank line and the DPS line collapse onto Burn. It seems like they don't have enough pressure outwards to stop that from happening. So
yeah,
even with ults off the table, we need to see a little bit of change there, or them use an ult in like a way that kind of unlocks potential for the tanks to move forward, the DPS to move forward. It's something that I'm a little bit...
What I want to point out to you is in that last fight, Sidev was taken out very early, and that was thanks to a really well-placed wall from Lieutenant Doge. And unfortunately, Burn got a little too aggressive, came in, and then, just kind of got walked over. But the concept was there, and I think that if they can execute that well, they might be able to take this fight in the neutral and win it, without too much hassle. It'll really just depend on if Lieutenant Doge can isolate a tank or the Reaper in a way that is not protected, without people coming around the side of the wall or breaking it very quickly. I think that could really win a fight in the neutral.
I agree. It's promising. The thing that I'm a bit worried about is they're on Mei Reaper, which has some synergy with walls, and that Reaper will plow you up against a wall. Like, if you're on it, Reaper will kill you. The problem is, like, Reaper wants to be in the backline, and Mei not the best at getting into the backline. Certainly not as good as Doomfist. So they're really going to need to play against the aggression of Storybook villains to get anything done. They're not going to have as much ability to just, casually waltz up on the supports in the back line and pick them off.
Yep. I'm very excited to see how this may play. It was a very quick fight last time. What I'm noticing out of Storybook villains, they really want to hold this close, but they don't want to hold this at the door, which is probably a good move because the May could very easily split you in half at the door. But they like to hold in the hallway that is just past that initial choke point, which can be extremely dangerous if you don't have your Lucio, your speed amp available, because the other team can just walk into you and you have nowhere to hide for cover. You are just stuck in a long hallway that has no out left, no out right, and you just have to back up and hope that you do okay. You can get a Doom Punch in there or an Orisa Halt just to slow them down, but it's a terrifying place to be. In my opinion, you should either be in front of that hallway or behind it. You should not be in it.
That's true, and the positioning here is much more critical with the double shield meta than it would be with Rein Zarya, where like Lucio speed boost, everybody backs up with the Rein shield. If you misplace a Reinhardt shield, if you misplace an Orisa shield, and I guess even in this new meta, misplace a Sigma shield for a little bit, you have much less flexibility in like slowly moving back. You have to really choose your engage points there.
So we are still waiting for a rejoin from a member of Burn. Unfortunate, but that's just how it goes. I'm having a good time so far. It's only been 2 fights, but the aggression coming out from Storybook villains is really exciting. I love seeing an aggressive team. It's just it's so much more fun to watch than two Orisa Bastion comps shooting at each other.
Well, yeah. I can't really say anything to refute that, to be honest with you. As a person who casts a handful of Overwatch games, Bastion comps, I do like seeing Bastion versus non-Bastion as, a little bit of spice, a little bit of flavor occasionally. Bastion versus Bastion is less interesting.
Yeah, definitely is. Rotations with Bastion, I think, are pretty good. They're pretty fun if they're done well. Just baiting a team to come try to clear you off the high ground, and then they get there and you're on a different high ground. And, just kind of chasing teams around the map, trying to get the advantage. I feel like I'm casting an RTS or like a StarCraft game, though. I feel like I'm casting musical chairs. Yeah. No, it's been a fun time. All right. I think we are about to get Soul Null back in the game, which would be great. And we will see what they do with this. It just kills me, with a disconnect like that. 2 fights in, they probably had somewhere around 50% ultimate, which is, you're halfway there. Now you got to spend another 2 fights just to get there.
All right, we're back in this. And really, Burn has to get going here. Like you said, they need probably a fight to build ults and then another fight. And that would be their last one if they don't cap. So
they're high ground rotation.
Yeah, quick high ground rotation. They're going to get to point and kind of defend it, which I think is good for their strategy here with the Mei. Punch coming out onto Soul Null. Soul Null already down. And Mei getting punched or rocked as well. They cap the point here, which is great for their time, but they're down a member already and ults are coming out.
Yeah, they're down 2 right now. They did get a trade up onto Ku earlier.
Bishop falling dangerously low, already down, and that's going to be no tanks available for Burn. But very clutch freeze. Lieutenant Doge there gets a line freezing 2, and Lumbo just melts them down. Great fight win from Burn.
Yeah, I've been impressed by Lieutenant Doge's play so far. Isolating members of Storybook villains with the wall, or just getting up in their face and freezing them, and having the ability to have Lumbo come back and follow up. I love
that Mei Reaper synergy really showing in that last
fight. Early pick, and Sharpjump is going to get out clean on that. Lumbo in the back line trying to make up for it, but it will also fall, and it's not looking promising for Burn here. Good freeze on Sharp Shot, but Mei will also fall, and this is a disengage quickly from Burn. The good news is they built some ults there. How do you expect to see him use them? You know, I am expecting an early blizzard here. You know, they if they're smart, they know that Storybook Villains is going to be holding this close hallway here, and they won't have a lot of way to get out of it. They might throw Lumbo into the backline with a teleport, but it looks like they're taking a high ground rotation again.
That high ground rotation worked from the first time. They got 54% on the point. Gives them some breathing room here, but they really need to win this fight. They spent
It was a fake.
They spent 10-15% doing that fake though, which means they're in one fight territory. Blizzard coming out. Good Blizzard, but Beat's gonna counter that. They are able to focus down 2 in the Blizzard, and I think that'll be a fight win.
Yeah, it should be. But look at the ultimates that Storybook Villains has available to them. I mean, they have what, 1, 2, 3, 3 coming up on 4.
Yeah, and they were able to stall that to 99, which means they just need to clear the point once.
Yep. That being said, Solnal is coming up on their Flux. Lumbo has the Death Blossom available, and Muzzy should be able to get their beat up soon-ish if they're, you know, playing smart. So this is going to be a really tough fight for Burn, but I think that they can do it if they play smart.
Storybook Villains posturing up on high ground here. Good Flux coming out, but kind of a counter Reaper ult on both sides. And Sidev is going to be the victor of that Reaper ult duel, but dying to Lumbo.
Sharp Shot with a big play there on the punch to stop the Reaper ult.
Yes.
It's a good idea from Lumbo, but it just, you know, Sharp Shot was ready to play.
Yeah, nobody able to make it back on the side of Burn, and that will be the end of the first round going to Storybook Villains. Altogether, though, much closer than we were kind of calling for it in the long intermission we had there. So, good back and forth.
Yeah, absolutely. I was very impressed with those high ground rotations that Burn was taking. Solnal did a pretty good job handling the fact that they came back into the game with you know, no ultimate charge and was literally 75% down. I don't think that they built up the Flux during that map, but even so, they were still providing a lot of value to their team, and their team played really well around the fact that they didn't have that. All right, so we are going to go with a pharmacy duel here in the sky. I'm so excited. Yeah,
still a mirror comp, but at least a different mirror comp. And this is kind of very historically popular pharmacy map. Me being a far player, don't really like it that much, actually. Oh, big boop coming out. Sharp Shot taking 2. And I expect that to be a pretty early point cap here. Let's see if the pharmacy...
Get out.
Yeah, Lumbo firing shots. Looked like Lumbo was doing okay in the far 1v1, but with the rest of the team there, I don't expect much to happen.
Yeah, absolutely not. Just trying to build ult charge right now. Sharp Shot definitely winning in that ult battle. You know, pushing 2 people off the edge will do that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but no, Lumbo not too far behind, has been hitting some good shots on tanks and return shots on the Sharp Shot in the air. So we have a rotation now. Bishop rotating onto point on the Orisa. And a Doomfist Punch coming in very aggressively. Doesn't work out for Doge there.
And yeah, this is unfortunate. Very unfortunate. But still looking pretty good on the side of Storybook Villains. They've gotten those picks early. You know, just every single time that they win a fight, it's because they start out with a pick. You know, it's just immediate. Wow, a late death from Muzzy. Oof.
Yeah, that was some great sniping out of the air from Sharp Shot. Some return fire from Lumbo, but not enough to take him out. All right, I really have not been a fan of the approaches here. You pointed out that they've been getting picked, but I think they've been not as like crisp on their coordination going in, and I think that's been what's hurting them getting them picked off early.
Sharp Shot has the barrage here. I'm curious to how they're going to use it.
Big pick on the Sidev already. Bishop, though, taking a lot of damage, only sustained with this Coalescence, and a backline barrage, getting a lot of value there from Sharp Shot. Sharp Shot's going to die, and I don't think there's a res available here, but the tanks are probably going to be able to zone out this pharmacy.
Yeah, 2 of the victims to that barrage were the tanks, and you know, even though the numbers were even without the tanks, it's really hard to aggress in there with both of the other team's tanks on the field.
Particularly in double shield meta, like as a Pharah, you just have no space to shoot into. You're just shooting into shields. All right, same approach coming in. Bishop taking space on the point. getting really stuck in this shield here. Nobody falling yet, but Barrage is going to come up from Lumbo. Unfortunately, gets zoned out by good Sigma play from an All-Oko. And the Flux coming out, not killing anyone here, and it's a slobber knocker of a fight. Damage going pretty heavily both ways, but it looks to be kind of point presence held by Storybook villains here in the corner.
Yeah, this is final fight here for Burn. They really need to win this right now. I mean, they've used all of their ults for this.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like they're going to do it.
It's superior kind of coordination of positioning those shields that I think was the dominating factor here for Storybook villains. You saw them even when they got under pressure and some picks happened. You know, Burn got a couple picks at the beginning of that fight. They were able to slowly get the whole team coordinated back into the corner and then press out from there without losing any more numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. The tank play from Storybook villains has been very impressive so far. I'm curious to see if Burn will change up their tank line at all, maybe players or characters, to do something to deal with the fact that they are getting a little outplayed by the tanks on the side of Storybook villains.
Yeah, and you can't take just tanks, you can't take just support, you can't take just DPS, because, you know, it's easier to play as a tank if your DPS is getting picks, it's easier to play as DPS if your tanks are getting space. So I just want to see overall different strategy. I don't think they looked very crisp on the double shield. They knew what positions to be in, but it looked like they were spending a lot of time thinking about it, you know, like they were like, all right, let's go left, and you saw some people trailing in that, and overall the decisions weren't just, you know, snappy. It looked like they weren't as prepared as Storybook villains. And
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be seeing much change here, as our next map will be Temple of Anubis, which is a very classically double shield map. I would really like to see some Roadhog here. You know, Doomfist, you know, getting into your backline and tearing things up is a lot easier to deal with if you have somebody who can just kind of pull them out of the air and shoot them in the face, especially with that buff. It's nice, and the nerf to Sigma really helps Roadhog.
That's true. I am a big fan of playing Roadhog, mostly because I like punishing people who are out of position. And Doomfist can definitely handle himself against a Roadhog, but it makes him much more cautious. And we did see a lot of kind of YOLO punches on both sides there. They were able to just kind of walk away from it because there's not a lot of CC in this meta.
Yep.
So one thing I do want to point out, we do have info cards for each team, and Bishop, somebody we didn't see in the first game we casted, signature hero listed as Reinhardt.
Yeah, let me see it, Bishop. Come on. Pull it out. Pull it out.
Pull it out. I have prepared my voice to yell Fat Shatter. Did vocal warm-ups for about 3 hours before getting on air. So if there's not any in this cast, you owe me those 3 hours back.
Yeah, truly. And also to note on the topic of Burn tanks, Soul Null, who was playing Sigma for Burn, has been subbed out in favor of Varian Rin, which was also in the tank line when we first cast Burn back in week 1, I believe. Yeah,
because Varian listed as an Orisa signature hero and was playing Orisa, I believe, when we first cast him. So I hope there's some crazy double main tank strategies. Super Monkey Ball, anyone?
Yep. My favorite, of course. Behind Renzaria.
We've actually seen a lot of success in other leagues running Ball and Monkey or Ball and Diva on first point here attack, because you tend to see those double shield teams set up in one spot on the high ground, and Ball can really push them around, literally push them around.
Yeah, what I really like about running a Winston and Hammond composition is that it really isn't on the tanks to go in and initiate. The tanks just have to control visibility, really, and control attention, and allows heroes like Widowmaker and Pharah to shine. You know, if their tanks are looking at Winston and at Hammond, they're not looking at the Pharah in the air. They're not shielding that Pharah, and they're having to deal with that. And their healers, you know, Ana has to turn around and try to sleep the Hammond. Their healers aren't doing their job either. It's a very good chaos comp, and I love it. I would love to see it.
Very different than kind of traditional Winston Diva dive, where you can actually dive, the healers get a pick. In this case, Winston and Hammond are capable of getting picks, but you know, they are more focused on making sure that they're creating space in the literal sense by pushing people around or forcing them to use abilities. So we're going to be going into Temple Anubis, going in hot right now. we've talked a little about strategy. What do you expect to see concretely from the attack and defense teams here?
I know we were talking about the Super Monkey Ball or something funky here. I don't think we're going to see it. I think that maybe Solnal was subbed out because of internet issues. That we took that pause in the middle of the first game for internet issues. So I'm thinking that maybe this is just a necessity sub. I could be wrong. I would like to be wrong. But I think we are going to be seeing double shield here. I think we are going to be seeing Doomfist. I think we're going to be seeing Reaper. And I think we're going to be seeing the same DPS or the same healers.
That's true. I would like to see a Bastion, which sometimes necessitates different healers. Batiste very common with the Bastion because you can kind of throw your Frisbee into a corner where it can't be shot. Gives you a lot of extra time. Bastion very common, I think, on first point here. Definitely not on second. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it. Disappointed, maybe. But yeah, I kind of agree. The teams looked very comfortable on the heroes, even if they weren't as comfortable with some of the strategies. It is interesting, because we were on King of the Hill last, do you expect to see Mei on attack or defense here from Burn?
I don't think Mei is super useful here unless you are very knowledgeable about how to divide a team and collapse onto them, not just as an individual player with Mei, but as a team, being able to run in and collapse. I don't think on defense we'll see it. Attack, maybe if there's a Bastion, having that Mei wall is very valuable. But I don't think we'll see it here on first point. Maybe on second. There's more angles to block with Mei. There's more places you can hide and freeze people.
All right, and just to prove you wrong, there is a Bastion sim coming from Burn, and we're actually warned about that in some of our pre-game research that I think it was Burn very interested in running crazy sim comps, of which Bastion sim maybe not as crazy as some other ones, but definitely on the list.
Yeah, I like the Bastion sim comp. It does what we were talking about earlier, where you can play musical chairs with Bastion. That teleporter is pretty far away though, so if there's a hard dive onto the Bastion, there's a long way to walk.
The Bastion's gonna have to stand up and walk backwards, and in that time walking, he could die. So I do love the Bastion sim because it's so wonky. You can move around in such weird ways that really frustrate the enemy team. And you see here, they're actually going to teleport and just hold back on point. They're not going to risk getting run over by this speed boosting Lucio Reaper, and they're just going to fire from range here.
A great rotation. This Sigma Shield's taking a lot of damage. Yeah,
already
Sigma
down.
Shield broken.
And they've already got the teleporter available to get them on high ground now. This definitely seems more practice and more in sync than their last map, which I like. Unfortunately, Orisa Shield kind of rotating the wrong way, and Bishop's putting Bishop in a dangerous spot.
A good drop from Varian, but Bishop's still in danger. Lumbo goes down to the Doomfist.
And that kind of positioning mishap, they were trying to get the Orisa back on high ground, is going to cost them maybe this point. They're giving up as many ticks, I think, as they can reasonably do so. Oh, good pick coming on. Doge onto an Oloko, and they're going to drop for that.
Yeah, this was very well played, I think, from Burn here. That was absolutely stellar play. Lieutenant Doge getting the 3K. Massive.
Yeah.
Oh,
unfortunately, another disconnect. This time on the side of Storybook villains.
Yeah, wow. That was a very impressive hold there from Burn. That was just stellar. I really would like to know who's leading the comms for them, because the rotations there, they were practiced. We start up top, then we teleport back to point, we force them to drop to point, and then we're up top again, and now we're firing down upon you. That's a set play right there.
That is definitely a set play. Cool. We have a score update. If you're not watching the other stream, No went up 1-0 against Go Again in their match.
Yep. So we are in parallel right now with the other match happening on the Owlet tournament main stream, I believe.
Yeah, and I've heard from the chat that it was a close game. So if you're interested in checking it out, twitch.tv, Owlet Tournament.
Yeah, or you sit here and you listen to the sweet tones of the Calzone cast. We are about to hop back in. I believe that, yep, Bowl of Bowls, who is playing the Orisa, was the one who disconnected. Now they're back in with a reset ultimate. It's only fair, you know, happened last game to burn.
And we have a positional reset following the exact same playbook. And I'm interested to see if anybody or even the whole team of Storybook villains catches on to kind of the rotations. You see they're trying a new route here.
Yeah, this is a very good route. It definitely circumvents the fire that they were under, but you know, a very short relocation at least helps burn here.
Yeah, they don't have any long range abilities really, and I'm not sure what they expect to do here. They really need to get somebody on top of the team. Doomfist and Reaper excel at being in your face, and they kind of suck anywhere else. So I think they need to come up with a strategy that lets them get in their face. They're going to try and play right below burn here. They're definitely going to get progress on the points.
Big halt.
Yeah, but ults will come out, and Doge is still just raining fire from above. Not under any kind of pressure. Only pressure he has is the reload button.
Yeah, and I think that's all right, because look at this. You know, it's taken them a long time to do it, sure, but they're at 2 ticks right now. They've gotten 1 tick on each push, and they're coming up on a lot of ultimates. They have Flux. They almost have. Oh, sorry, I am looking at the wrong team. They don't have Flux. They do have a Flux coming up. Don't get me wrong. They have Beat coming up, which if they use it, if Flux comes out early, very end.
You see a window here which is going to burn another 10 seconds, and even though they've gotten 2 ticks, they've taken 3 minutes to do so, and still don't really have big ults to show for it. So even if they cap here, it's going to be a rough second point push just because of the time burn. And a clutch pick onto their main healer here, or their Moira. I don't know who you classify as main healer anymore. But that's going to prevent them from being able to go in. You need that Moira support. And right now, they're just trapped in this tiny room.
Yeah, I mean, they're waiting for the Moira. Okay, the Moira fades in, but now the Moira doesn't have a tool to get across the gap if they need it. They're pressuring
they're
the
just
point.
Going straight to point.
Bishop is isolated there with Lisecki.
Yeah, that was much less coordinated than their previous teleports, and that's going to hurt them a lot. Bishop dropping early, but Doge still able to get free shots here. Good positioning is going to be key for certain villains to survive. Good Flux, that will stop the res. And still picks good kills from Varian coming out, and that'll be a first point hold. And a Loco not able to touch.
Yeah, Burn with a very good understanding of what they needed to do and how to force the other team into a bad position. You saw Doge always rotating around the map so that they always had clear view of the point, but never under pressure from any fire. You know, the only person who could really reasonably fire that far is the Orisa, and, you know, you're just firing into a different Orisa shield all day.
Yeah, that was very well practiced. Congrats to Burn on a pretty solid first point hold. You did see a lot of, like, alternate pathing coming out from Storybook villains. Like, they were thinking about it, but unfortunately, they never really solved the issue. They tried new paths that forced new things out of Burn, but they weren't ever able to kind of put a single shot onto that Bastion, and the Bastion was happy to watch Burn's team fall and kind of clean it up.
Yeah, they put themselves in a couple of situations which were really close to working, where the Bastion was not protected by his team, at least in terms of the bodies, and there were 2 or 3 members of Burn on point. The problem was just in the execution, I think, because team members would turn and look at the members on point and forget about the Bastion, and Doge would just rain hellfire down on them.
It's true. We're going to see a similar strategy coming out on the defense here for Storybook villains. They're going to run Bastion, but with a Pharmacy this time instead of a Symmetra. So we'll see if there's a really big difference here. The Symmetra was able to kind of counter some of the counter Bastion strats, which is, you know, sometimes you can just run under the Bastion's high ground and the Bastion can't shoot at you, but Symmetra can remedy that by moving the Bastion to the other side. So Pharah Not a bad pick either, though. Adds on a bunch of extra damage, and Pharah can reposition easily to kind of force them along different paths, kind of straight into the Bastion. So we're going to see Burn take the normal path route here, and Bishop's going to fall early. That's really unfortunate.
These Orysas are having a tough time staying alive under the pressure of these.
Big pick. Doge is going to take out Sharp Shot, but an easy res there with Mercy off to the side.
Yeah, Sharp Shot with that barrage now. That's a tool that I don't know if Burn is prepared to deal with. It's crazy
I
fast.
would not be prepared to call that, even if I was ult tracking.
Yeah, Sharp Shot is looking for that barrage now. He's waiting for an opportunity.
All right. Good slurp coming out. Unfortunately, no follow-up. Sharp Shot's really low here and has no support from the Mercy yet.
And if he's on point.
Yeah, Sharp Shot had to run in and gets the barrage off, but kind of for no value.
Yeah. Burn definitely looked very good on that map. They executed exactly what they wanted to do on defense, and then they did what I think Storybook villains should have done on their attack. You know, they came in, they sat on point, and they said, "You're going to come to us because you have to stand on this point." And and then they forced the win that way.
Just kind of insufficient rotations. The rotations are undoubtedly easier when you have a Symmetra that says, "We're rotating, press F." But yeah, that was, you saw side dev on the Bastion was always up on the high ground and was shooting, but because there was no ability for the Bastion to move to a better angle, they being Burn were able to kind of position around the Bastion to avoid taking damage.
Yep. All right, so we are at a 1-1, I believe. Storybook Villains took map 1 on Lijiang Tower with a pretty clean 2-0. And then a very convincing win here for Burn on Temple of Anubis, bringing us to 1-1. Tight series. I was talking to the teams ahead of time, asking, hey, you think this is gonna be a tight game? Is it gonna be a blowout? What do you think? And like you had mentioned before, the teams, these are scrim partners from stage 1. And so they've got a lot of familiarity with each other. They knew at least some idea of what was going to be coming out because new patch, new meta hasn't been out that long. And so, I think these are probably maybe some tailored strategies. Maybe Burn knew that Temple of Anubis was really easy for them to rotate on and out-rotate Storybook Villains. Maybe these are planned strategies. It feels like they are. These are set plays.
That Bastion sim was practiced.
Oh,
if they did it without practice, sign me up. I want to be on that team.
Yeah. Sorry, boys, I'm leaving. I'm going to this team.
Anyways, moving on to Eichenwald, you said they were scrim partners. I really expected that to mean it was going to be a slobber knocker with individual fights going any which way, but it's shown a lot more like strategical differences between the teams and their ability to kind of completely counter on one strategy of the other team rather than like DPS are just fragging every way possible. So maybe less exciting, maybe more exciting, depending on if you're a big brain or you're a small brain like me.
Yep. So we are going to be going to Eichenwald after halftime. I'm not sure how long halftime is, but hopefully we can take a break real quick. We can send you guys to a little bit of an interstitial, and we'll be back shortly.
And we're back. We're still in the halftime break for a little bit longer, but we figured we'd give you some of that signature Calzone entertainment so you're not bored.
Yeah. All right. So here's some peeking behind the screens here. I just went down to my living room and I grabbed myself 2 fortune cookies. I'm gonna pop both those bad boys open. One for Burn, one for Storybook Villains, and whatever's on those, it's not a caster curse because I didn't do it. Okay. All right. Here we go. Time for the RNG of my of the way this game's gonna go. All right. Number 1. This is for Storybook Villains. People find it difficult to resist your persuasive ways. I don't know what that means. Do you guys? Do you have any idea what that means, Cal?
Who's the most persuasive hero in the game?
I'm gonna say Sombra. That seems
Sombra?
right. Well, just like in
Alright.
terms of like the character lore and stuff. That like I don't know. Maybe not
Alright.
mechanics wise. What do you
All right,
think?
whatever.
All right. That's
Siding
what I'm
with the
thinking.
villains here.
I think that means that Storybook Villains is going to run a Sombra. Let's open the second one. Here we go. Time for some ASMR. Oh, yes. Yes, that was great. All right. Here we go. This is for Burn. Burn. Oh, I don't like this one. I don't like this at all. You constantly struggle for self-improvement. That's not good.
That's not a great
That's
sound.
not good at all.
for
Oh, it's
their,
okay. Yeah. You know
for
what?
the
No,
rest
no,
of
no.
the map.
Just because you're improving doesn't mean you're not good. Yeah, this is definitely a good thing. Because if you're always attempting to self-improve, then you're going to just keep getting better. Just because it's tough, that's how it's going to be. Whatever. This has been Calzone's Fortune Cookie segment. You can look forward to it next time in like 5 weeks when we do another cast.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're ready to get back into it. Our next map is going to be Eichenwald, like I believe I said previously. We're going to have Storybook Villains on the defense first, I think. Yeah. Let's. I believe we're going to be getting into this pretty quick. What do you expect to see here, Cal?
I honestly don't know what to think. You can actually run Bastion first point here. Much less common, I think, than Temple of Anubis, but it works so well for Burn that I would be disappointed if they didn't run it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm hoping that they have some sort of prepped Bastion strat, very similar to what we saw in Anubis. I think that would be good.
Even if they don't run Bastion, their Symmetra was a high point on Anubis, and I feel like Symmetra is also somewhat viable on first point Eichenwald. That being said, they need a backup strategy for the streets phase of Eichenwald, where there's lots of high ground available, and I feel like you can easily outmaneuver a Bastion even with a Symmetra as kind of offending tanks.
Yeah, you definitely can. I believe I was talking to Storybook Villains at one point earlier, and they had mentioned something to me in passing about dive. About dive? I don't know. I couldn't tell you if that was real or not. But Eichenwald, especially on second point, definitely a diveable map. So I would be really curious to see that, especially since they know that Burn's going to be running a Bastion probably. Burn on maps that have proven viable for it so far, which have been Anubis. They ran it, and they ran it well. I wouldn't want to swap off of it if I were Burn.
I wouldn't either.
Yep. All right. We are about to hop in.
Do you want to give any shout outs to any players you think have been pulling off anything clutch so far? It's been a lot of a team effort, and I feel like, especially in this meta, it's a little bit harder to separate out the kind of clutch plays. There's no fat shatters. You get some good bongos off, build your team some significant ult charge, I guess. But anything you want to call out while we're waiting for teams to select their heroes?
We've mentioned them previously, but Lieutenant Doge and Lumbo really on both maps, Lijiang and Anubis, they both looked really solid, and they looked cohesive with each other, which is great. I love that. When your DPS duo is working well together and they know what space the other is handling and what they're providing for each other, I think that's just something that looks really clean. It just looks good.
Yeah, and to your fortune cookie, it did predict the future, unfortunately for the wrong team, because we have Lieutenant Doge on Sombra right now, and I really hope they're not trolling, because I would love to see some Sombra in, you know, this day and age, in the newest of new metas.
Yep, it looks like we are definitely seeing this Bastion defense. I mean, there's no time to swap. So Sidev playing the Bastion, a scuffed shield from Bowl of Bowls at the start. I'm really curious to see if Lieutenant Doge sticks this or if it's just for scouts.
Yeah, and okay, we do have Limbo swapping over to Pharmacy. Maybe if they scout the Pharmacy and they want a duel. Oh, Lieutenant Doge is swapping off Sombra onto May. And that's a bit sad, but it is not unheard of against a Bastion comp.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very curious to watch this Pharah duel in the air. Sharpshot and Lumbo have been both very solid players today.
Sharpshot dropping low already. Gets behind the pillar and recovers.
It looks like Burn here is going to be taking a wide rotation all the way outside towards B. Lumbo staying on his own with Big Muzzy hanging out.
Yeah, and we're in a very positioning heavy part of this. You see Burn rotated all the way behind back, trying to open something up. While that happens, I miss Lumbo falling. So maybe a res gonna come in here, but Big Muzzy's fighting for their life on the Mercy, and they're gonna fall. That's gonna put a big dent in the plans of Burn here. They're kind of trapped in the backline.
Yeah, they had. Ooh, that's a late kill. They had forced out the immortality field inside of the tavern early, which was good. Unfortunately, with the Pharah down, you're still facing a 4v6.
Yes. I'm gonna be keeping an eye on Sharpshot here. Good eye of the battlefield, really, and kind of single-handedly won that fight. Won the Pharah duel, and then got the cleanup kills that they needed. And Barrage is available for both Pharah players right now. Unfortunately, I think it's gonna be harder for Lumbo to get in position to do a lot of damage.
Huge kill!
Huge kill from Sharpshot. And they're guarding this body well. I don't see a res coming out. On the other side, though, we have an engagement. The Bastion Maywall's gonna block them off. And we see some point presence here from Burn, but it doesn't look really good.
Yeah, I don't like the commitment of the Coalescence from Laseki. They can build up to it pretty quickly, but even still, you were down 2 players. You weren't going to win that fight.
Yeah, I can't tell if that was kind of an acknowledged commit when they had lost the Pharmacy duel already, or if the communication was just off there and they thought they were still at 100% strength.
Early
Bongo will buy them, 20 seconds off the clock, although Burn wasn't really in position to do anything with those 20 seconds yet. And we see here that the tanks are actually going to be trying to pressure out Sharpshot's Pharah because they've had so much trouble winning the duel so far.
And there it is.
Good pick. Doge takes out Sharpshot, and Mercy's trapped on the ground here for a second. Mercy will get away.
A good cover of the res. That window is going to cause a lot of trouble.
Maywall comes out and is immediately melted. But 1 tick so far. We'll have an Alco drop to points to contest. Usually what you see from the off tank. And now this is more of the fight that Burn was looking for. Unfortunately, Lumbo's going to die very quickly in Barrage.
Huge blizzard.
That's a Barrage that comes out and gets Mercy, but unfortunately will not save this fight. And Sidev just going to chill up top on Bastion and walk away from this fight.
They're going to get late staggered if Burn can recognize it and chase him. The Bastion takes the all right.
Good sentry mode kill there. Knows how to play Soldier 76. Sidev does.
Yeah, this there was a lot invested in that fight. Sidev swapping off with the Bastion. They're not going to be able to get to this high ground quickly.
They're doing this. They'll get back.
Yeah, I meant it's the Bastion.
Yeah.
Right now, Bishop has the Bongo, which could definitely help Lumbo get some more charge in, put down some pressure, or just Lumbo's going to do it. That's fine.
All right. I think we're even in the Pharah duel. Oh, Ko on the Mercy. Very dangerously low. That was a clutch Frisbee coming out from Lit Cat, saving the Mercy. Unfortunately, it dies, and so does Mercy.
Yeah.
And
that was a very well-placed flux, I think, from from Iniloko. Unfortunately, just the team was there. The only person that actually took the damage from it was Moira, and Mercy just came to res it. My goodness, what a rock!
That's a Kobe rock if I've ever seen one. Throws it up on top of the bridge to take out Pharah.
Love it. All right, so ult's coming into this fight. It looks like Storybook Villains doesn't. I mean, they just don't have anything to work with.
Bongo huge advantage for Burn.
Yeah, Burn shouldn't lose this fight. Yep, a nice ult.
Big Flux gets 3 here.
3
kills 1 with it. I don't even think they're going to need to invest Blizzard to win this. You see Sharpshot's about to be tickled out and dies, and cleanup will come. Lumbo just raining from above. Didn't even look like a hard fight there, and they're going to build up Barrage from it.
Picking up some stagger kills here.
Yeah, some early response. Ko on the Mercy trapped a bit here. Lumbo notices it's a good rockets in, and Ko will die again. An unfortunate spawning location.
Yep. That being said, the ultimate advantage is still in favor of Burn. You know, they have that barrage, they have the blizzard. Pharah's not super useful on this point, but they're going to try to look for this barrage probably early. There it is.
Big barrage coming out. An unfortunate shield just goes right behind Lumbo and will not save them. You do see Sharpshot swapped over to the Reaper, which definitely a good pick on this last point. Pharah not a lot of room to breathe, but hasn't been able to make anything happen yet.
Yeah. I mean, this cart's still rolling. This fight's still won.
Yeah,
they're going to need to figure out something to do now.
Pretty solid time for Eichenwald if they're able to cap it here in this fight. Early pick onto Ko. Meteor Strike coming down from Sidev. Reasonable placement. Picks off Varian. And more ults coming out. Laseki very low in the back, but nobody notices. Except Sidev punches him right into a wall.
All right, the stall fight there, the last ditch effort fight definitely came out in the favor of Storybook Villains, which is good. But I mean, look, you know, you have no ults now. Bowl of Bowls dies late. He's gonna get back in time. They're gonna get back in time. Sidev goes to the Junkrat. Just kidding. Over to the Reaper. I believe that was just swaps for getting people onto the right heroes. I want to see big picks coming out here from Sharpshot. You know, they're gonna have to do something to stop this blizzard. Yeah, that's the only.
And blizzard comes out early. The backline's fortunately able to dodge it, but Bowl of Bowls trapped in the middle is gonna fall early. And now you see grouped up the entire team, but nobody's able to capitalize. Seki's Coalescence gonna come out, bringing in some sustain and actually getting a lot of damage done. Ko dropping low. Ko down already. Unfortunately, this fight isn't going very fast. Bowl of Bowls is already revived and is back in the fight. The Cat's Coalescence, I think, will seal this deal, and we're going to be on last fight territory.
Yeah, that fight looked really good to start with for Burn, but we're essentially at a 2 CP capture here. That's what really it takes to finish this map. And if you're not cleaning these kills up fast enough, you're not going to get the W.
Yeah, definitely. If they were on defense, that pace of taking down heroes would have been enough. They would have capped. But unfortunately, attacking here, the respawns are so close. You really need to hit big ults, and so this Flux is going to be clutch here. Gets enough. Nobody dead yet. Actually, 2 picks coming out for the reverse, and I don't see anything good happening here for Burn.
Nor do I.
Lumbo gonna try to touch the payload once before being beaten to death by Doomfists.
Yeah, that was a very solid hold there. You know, I think that B looked really rough on the side of Storybook Villains, but they definitely came out strong. They had a good control of the map when they came into the third point. You know, and they knew what they needed to do. They took space, they kept it, and they were forcing the DPS of Burn to not be able to get their jobs done. You know, that's just well played tanks. I think that's personally what I think did a good job. The healers on the side of okay, yeah, I know.
As a tank main,
yeah, as a tank main, the tanks are the most important part of the team. No, but the healers also did a really good job of prioritizing healing there on the side of Storybook Villains.
Yeah, definitely good sustain. Even when they were down in fights, they were able to sustain long enough for the Orisa to get back. Down a main tank, and you live with 3 up until the Orisa gets back. That's all you need on defense.
Yeah, that last fight I thought was really, really interesting because, you know, we came out on the with the flux on the side of Varian, and the members on Storybook Villains who weren't caught in that flux were like, okay, my team's up in the air. You guys are all looking up at my team. I'm going to go attack the people who are looking at the rest of my team. And they just got 3 during the flux. It was amazing.
Yeah, Reaper, when Reaper's out of flux, very dangerous. If you're looking up, Reaper will two-shot you. I don't care if you're Orisa, Reinhardt, Roadhog, you're dead. So, that being said, Iconfall, I feel, is a very hard map to push to the end, particularly if you get trapped trying to push to the last point of bridge. The respawn's really bad there. So, definitely still doable for Burn.
Burn pulling out a Bastion strategy yet again. Let's see if they're as coordinated in this one as they were on Anubis.
Not running the Symmetra, unfortunately. I do love to see some Symmetra shenanigans. And it looks like Storybook may be trying to try some of the paths that we saw earlier, but a good pick from Lumbo is going to kind of stop that and distract.
They're trying to force the point right now, doing a pretty good job of that. Get a free tick out of it.
Get a free tick, yeah. I think you take that. You were already down 1. You'll feed a bunch of ult charge here, that's for sure, but 1 tick's not bad.
That's okay. That's 1 tick in 1 fight. They didn't, you know, they got 45% out of that. You know, they're going to lose, what, 9% of that?
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was a pretty solid fight. I do think that that Storybook... Whoa, Muzzy.
Oh,
hey,
they need to go in on that right now.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's...
speed. Go.
Might be some bad manners play coming in, but you take the 5v6.
Yeah. They're going to rush right to point again and force it. Try to get another take out of it. Use the 5v6.
Yeah. Lumbo has Barrage, but won't be able to use it without the Mercy available, I don't think. And a pick onto Laseki is going to mean Mercy's still going to be unavailable. Never mind. I've been lied to. Lumbo, clutch Barrage coming out.
This is still a slobber knocker. This could definitely still go either way. The respawns are in the advantage of Storybook Villains here.
Yeah, and we see a Reaper still on point, and he's sustaining just ever so slightly. Will go down, and it's only healers left on the point here.
Seki!
That Moira Lit Cat lived way longer than they should have. Maybe a little nerves coming out from Burn, but they'll clean it up without too much trouble once Doge gets back on the high ground.
Yeah, I was going to criticize there the drop from Burn was really uncoordinated. You know, the first person they threw down was Laseki. You know, Laseki, I don't know if it was a forced drop, you know, like a boop or something, but you know, it was a very uncoordinated drop, and they deserved to lose that fight. Unfortunately, Storybook Villains were looking a little more uncoordinated.
To be fair, Laseki's the only one who can jump back up to the high ground.
That's true.
But yeah, I would definitely pair it with a tank if I was in that position. Doge's going to take out Sidev to start this fight, although more free ticks.
That's another one.
Yeah. Burn really needs to, for the next fight, get down their coordination of who's dropping first. They did not need to give up a tick in this fight because they were up to start it.
Yeah, absolutely. Storybook Villains doing a very good job of understanding that they can just stand on point and that Burn doesn't want to be there. It's exactly what happened to them during Anubis. So it's nice to see them flipping that strategy around on its head. See, there's another very quick attack coming in here. All right, let's see. We've got a lot of ults on both sides coming up. A nice flux, double flux, actually. I love it.
Looks like it's going in favor of Burn here, though. Lieutenant Doge on the Bastion down, and a barrage coming out from Lumbo. No value, though. It's definitely a more even fight than it should have been. Muzzy's going to go for the res, leaving the tanks to kind of fend for themselves, but that brings Doge back into the fight with Ultimate. Ultimate's coming out, and a very, very solid cleanup. I think he got a rocket. The Bastion got a rocket through the window onto Orisa.
What is this Doomfist slam?
I think
I don't think this trade is worth it. Yeah, it's
definitely not worth it. Maybe they miscalculated the time here. You see Noloko on the ball because there's 10 seconds off from the clock. Going to have to get in for the touch here, but they're down Doomfist. It's going to be a rough fight. They need to stall until Doomfist can get back. And Noloko, bad pathing, he gets stuck inside. Unfortunately for him, his team's there. Huge reroll outside him.
Oh my god, that was a really well-placed reroll. Coming in from up top, dropping down. They didn't have
no. Credit has to go to Bowl of Bowls. slurging them all into one spot. Burn got a little bit flustered. I think maybe they were overconfident because they had that early pick, and the ball was kind of flailing off to the side. But Bowl of Bowls, the healers were able to just get on point and set that up, and Burn kind of fell right into the trap. So.
Doge swapping over to the Doomfist now, leaving the Bastion away as
is tradition when you move to second point.
As is tradition, yeah. Unless you're very quick, it's hard to position that Bastion.
Yeah, and Lumbo continuing with this stream of picks. Nobody to really contest. Like, nobody in Storybook Villains can shoot that high except Arista.
Yeah, it's definitely something that they need to handle. Storybook Villains has not even thrown up something to contest it. It worked kind of on A just because, they were forcing the point and Burn didn't want to attack it. But yeah, it's very, very uncontested right now.
Yeah, I mean, usually you see somebody just swap over to McCree. I'm wondering if they're either confident in their ability to get picks elsewhere or just lacking hit scan players. Good pick on a Bishop here, going to open up a fight. And Bowl of Bowls flying off the map. Fortunately, though, for Storybook Villains, they've got some picks in the meantime.
Yep. If you are Burned, do you come back and contest this? I don't think you have time. People are dying too slow.
I think you do. Your respawns are so close, you can try it. And we're going to see Varian come in with a big flux. Unfortunately, not enough support to finish any kills there. Lumbo gets in a little bit late and throws out Barrage. Inaloco clutch counters most of the damage there. Unfortunately, the Barrage wasn't all you needed to worry about, bud. Yeah. Lumbo's going to rain more rockets to finish that fight off. And that was a very good flux coming out. Even though not a lot came of the actual damage, they were able to stall out the point there, and now they have a huge respawn advantage. Like, I think it's like 3x closer for them.
It's ridiculously close. Yeah, the tanks on the side of Burn did a very good job there, trying to finish this here, right now. Oh my god!
Kobe onto Ko, and they're just not able to walk through the castle right now.
No, that's it.
The Bongo window is an obscene amount of damage, and not even double shield can save you.
Oh my gosh, that was terrifying. And that'll be the round.
Yeah.
All right.
Great plays coming out from both sides, really. But
yeah, I think Burn did a really good job there. Obviously, we've talked a lot about Lumbo. They've done a very good job, as evidenced by the Pharah play of the game. Not what I expected. I expected a Reaper play the game. That's all right though. But what I wanted to point out is that the tanks on the side of Burn did a really good job, because they, especially on that last push, they were understanding where the sightlines of the Storybook Villains were going to be. And so, like that last push, when the Flux came out, Bishop wasn't with Varian. Bishop pushed out the other side so that they would have to focus somebody, and the other tank was going to be able to touch. It's that sort of coordination between tanks I love to see.
Yeah, that was also just some hero plays from DPS on both sides. I did call out some really good healer plays in the moment, but as is tradition, DPS plays kind of won them fights that they shouldn't have won. Particularly that pull into Reaper was super clutch. If they got another one of those, maybe they take the map.
Yep.
Start of the game though, Lumbo just getting picks uncontested. Please swap.
Yeah, somebody swap McCree, please. Sub me in, I'll do it.
Right. No, don't.
No,
don't sub him in.
No, it's okay. I can hit one shot. That's it. I mean, I don't. Just the one.
Yeah.
Anyways,
if you give zone ult, he may be able to kill a Pharah.
Yeah, we'll see. The high noon. I get about 50-50 out of it. Anyways, so right now in the NO versus Go Again match over on the main Owlet stream, just for everybody's information, it is 1-1 right now, which is another tight game. I'm loving it. Go Again had just taken Volskaya, so that's exciting. I am gonna be honest. I'm glad I didn't have to watch Volskaya. I prefer Anubis over Volskaya.
That's weird because Anubis is the worst map in the game.
Nah, dude, Paris is right there. Anyways, so our fourth map which if Burn takes it, will be our series for the night. Our fourth map is going to be Route 66. I like Route 66. You can do a lot of very interesting things. Second point through streets is not a role like some second points are.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah, I really like second point on Route. I think it's cool. Third point can play a lot. It's very fun to play as a main tank, I think, as well. First point has a lot of very interesting options that you can take with close holds, with Widowmakers, finding weird angles. There's a lot of really cool stuff on Route.
Yeah, and I really liked that we saw a close matchup on the payload sections of Eichenwald on the second part of the hybrid. So I'm hoping we see even more close contention on this payload map to be our finale. We have in chat, Ike has been the best map so far this match, and I agree. I want to see more flashy plays. I want to stream more on stream, guys. I got tea ready and I haven't even had to drink it.
Yeah, I really am hoping, if Storybook Villains wins this, we go to map 5. I want to see a map 5. Our map 5 would be Oasis, which again, another really cool map. A lot of cool stuff you can do there. A lot of Ryan Zaria. Who said that? Somebody came into my room and said, Ryan, whoever they are, go. I agree with them. Yeah, Ryan Zaria would be great, but probably not gonna see it on Route. Not feeling it.
That's true. I don't know anybody crazy enough to run Ryan Zaria on Route 66. Even back in the days of goats, you used to see a lot of Winston goats on first point.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, I think that this has been a very exciting match so far. Ike felt like a blowout, and I think that was just because of the first points. Like you said, the payload maps or the payload components have been very even.
Yeah.
I think. Disregarding any snowballs.
Yeah, more time on the clock. SBV definitely could have capped second, and then third's a toss-up.
Yeah.
Remember that Burn didn't actually cap third, so if they get in there, get around the corner, it's kind of anybody's game at that point.
Yeah. I really wish we could see some tank variation here from either team. That's just because I like to see it mixed up. I think the healers have been doing really cool. You'll see Lucio in a lot of stuff. I think the Lucios on both sides have been doing a really good job of rotating their team, speeding them across. I think that in particular, even though they were having some trouble against the Bastion comp, I think that the Lucio on the side of Storybook Villains, who I believe was Ku. Let me go with Ku.
I think it's Ko.
Ko? That also works.
I think they were doing Ko like in Coco. Oh,
that's fun.
Ko like in Coco? That's what's said in the pronunciation section.
Gotcha. So yeah, Ko was doing a really good job of getting their team through. It can be hard to be like, okay, everybody in my little circle, you're over there. Come on, Jim, get in the circle. Okay, and now we amp.
Yeah, like literally hurting cats.
Literally hurting Reinhardt.
If you're playing on the Smilers team that Zone and I play on, literally hurting cats.
Yeah. Being one of the cats, I can assure you. Yeah. All right. So we're about to get our first flash of what these teams are going to be playing. What's it going to be?
We see Bastion again coming out from Burn. I kind of expected it. Bastion pretty popular on first point of this map. Like I said, even before this meta, long time ago in a galaxy far away, people used to run Bastion first point here.
Yeah, Lumbo, I think, going to Pharah just for a comfort pick, We've seen a lot of very powerful stuff coming out there.
Comfort pick or not, it's also, you guys apparently don't have a hit scan player, so I'm just going to run Pharah and laugh.
Yeah. It seems that Storybook Villains has sort of meta paralysis right now. You can add some flavor to this. You get some ginger out, you get some pepper out, you add some spice to your metas, and you get some fun stuff. But no, we're not seeing it. All right, again though, we're in the meta with Storybook Villains. See how they try to deal with this far this time.
It should be known that, at least before on the old Sigma patch, Sigma was not terrible at dealing with Pharah, because Sigma has the ability to just spam shields in Pharah's face, zone the Pharah out. A little bit harder with the cooldown now. Lumbo gonna take first pick, side F going down, but the payload's gonna make some progress here because Bastion can't necessarily drop.
Yep. There is a contest on the cart though.
From above, yeah.
Yeah, from above.
Yeah, from above can contest here, which is why Bastion's so good. But they're able to survive because they can stand, you know, under the covers here.
Yep, Sidev will be getting back in the fight shortly.
Unfortunately, he doesn't have cover though, so he's gonna take a lot of fire from the Pharah. And that's kind of a disaster as far as time goes. They got their 6 back, and as soon as that happened, Burn turned into high gear and killed the whole team inside of just like, guess I'll leave.
Yep. And look who has barrage. Lumbo has been just pumping damage in. You know, that first pick on Sidev was due to a teleportation into the back that was spotted out. I really want to see Litcat use Coalescence to burn down Lumbo. You know, you've got it. That's the only thing you've got that can do this without like a halt accretion combo.
True, but I don't think Coalescence can out damage a Mercy enough to matter. We see a fast rotation coming out, good coordination, and they're gonna get up on high ground. Unfortunately, Lumbo is like, hi, my name is Pharah, and Barrage will stop you from doing that. And they're gonna get a res go
through. Oh my goodness.
They couldn't kill because of the lamp, and they don't really have any boots available at that point. So this is a bit frustrating. Like, you saw a really well executed. They got around back without having anybody picked off. They had the speed going in. Unfortunately, they had no answer to that barrage.
Yep.
Varian
Look at the ultimates prepared on the side of Burn. They have 1, 2, everything except for the barrage that they just used as live. Look at the ults on the side of Storybook Villains. They have nothing. They haven't been able to do damage yet. Everybody on the side of Burn is just unloading into them.
Yeah, they're focusing a lot on rotating, but it's taken so long. And a big halt into Flux coming out from the tanks. And that's probably going to end this fight before anybody can do anything.
Yep, these rotations are long. They're just having to eat this because they don't have anybody who can build ultimates, you know? Ko is only 84% to that beat. That'll be a nice tool when they get it, but, you know, Sidev only 60% to the Reaper ult. You've got to do something. Okay, Sharp Shot going to the Pharah. I think they had some success on this. I'm really curious to see if they can. They
did, but Lumbo's warmed up a lot on this Pharah, and I'm really scared to see what happens if Sharp Shot doesn't have a Mercy to heal. Lucio and Mora. Yeah.
And a pause coming out from the side of Storybook Villains. It's unfortunate, but we'll see what happens, see what goes down. Yeah, I don't like the Pharah pick. If you're gonna pick the Pharah, you need to commit the beat, you know, or commit the Mercy to it. You're not gonna win this 1v1, not with a Bastion and a Pharah staring down the sights of you.
Yeah, both it's not a 1v1. It's a 1v3.
Yes.
So a lot of ults available, but no Flux, importantly, from Burn. So they're so far off, Story Villains is, from their own Flux, so I'm hesitant to say that could win in this fight, but they need to build something. They need to build it right now, because this is their second to last fight if they die quickly. And the bad news is the respawns here aren't super far away for the defenders. So Burn, if they were to even lose the fight quickly, has a second chance.
Yeah, I really want to know what Storybook Villains are thinking here, because they, you know, you've not built any ults. You know, even if you think you can win this in the neutral, just not being able to build ults should tell you enough to know we're not doing enough. We're not being able to engage with them. They're engaging upon us.
Yes, agreed. We see a good group up coming here through in the tunnel. That'll get them around the Bastion without taking too much damage. Good speed boost coming in from Ko. And the Bongo's going to come out, and they're going to lose Sharp Shot before they can engage. And Lumbo will delete everyone else.
Everyone else is taking it. I dislike that rotation more than I disliked it the last 3 times they did it. Because, hey, look where the card is. The card isn't even past choke. And
the good news is they might be able to make it to it because it's so close to spawn.
All right, they're
going to get the part, and Sharp Shot's going to fall again, alone. Nobody there beside them. And Paul's going to drop in, Bulls, giving their life to get their card a little bit further.
All right.
Damage coming onto the Doge. Doge almost falls on the Bastion. Good Immortality Field coming out. And a little bit more of a fight than we expect. Sidev, good Reaper ult. Is this the repeat? Is this a repeat?
We doing this? Is this? All right.
I think a little bit sloppy coming out from Burn here. They thought maybe they had it in the bag the whole series, and Flux is going to be available. Gets Pharah, I think. Yeah, very confusing seeing Pharah fly up like that. Pharah's going to live, though. Wild. And progress coming out from Storybook Villain. If they can get some picks here before the fight really starts, I can see them capping here. And you do see no Bastion anymore. Lieutenant Doge swapped over to the Doomfist, maybe to get back faster, but probably because they couldn't set up. Unfortunately, Bovols misses Slam there, and the fight's coming in full force. Lumbo, big barrage.
The cap came in. The cap came through.
Yeah, they didn't get this fast enough. Oh no.
Oh, what an unfortunate. You hate to see it. I mean, you know, that's a fight win, which will take a few seconds off the clock, but, you know, there was no seconds on the clock when that fight started. I think that Storybook Villains got really lucky there. That was...
I think they exploited it. They had the right mentality, and I don't think Burn did. Burn, their Bastion got a little sloppy, dropped down with ult, wanted to get the fun cleanup, rocket everybody in the face. But then Bastion died, and they really fell apart after that.
Yeah. It looks like Storybook Villains
coming
are
out
going
here.
back to that comp they had.
Oh, very, very good immortality field. Puts Sidev in a bad spot. Can't finish something of the kills, and everybody's still shooting into him.
Even here, Doge being down definitely hurts, but Lumbo's
Even
still
here,
flying
but
in the Zeki.
Positioning definitely in favor of Storybook Villains, as they're able to just take all of this ground and keep pressing forward. Lumbo's the only one alive with Mercy here, and Mercy's gonna fall. So I don't know what Lumbo expects to do.
That was a good fight in terms of like the fact that they won it, but that cart wasn't moving at all during it. They lost a good 20 seconds during that fight where the cart was actually moving backwards through that choke.
But they're able to hard stagger Lumbo, which unless they get a kind of ignored res off, I think will get them very close to finishing this point.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if Varian commits the Flux here early.
I expect to see Inaloco commit the Flux here. Here, right in the corner.
Yep, there it is.
Flux coming out to get 2. Doesn't even need to kill. Bishop dies beforehand, and Lieutenant Doge is going to slam in, I guess.
Yep, that's gonna be a fight win. Good job. All right, Storybook Villains showing some life here. I'm loving it. They're playing aggressive. They're trying to capitalize on the fact that I think Burn got cocky. They're feeling like this is the bag.
Burn got unseated and hasn't been able to sit back down.
Yeah. So looking at the ults here, you know, Varian still holding that Flux with a counter from Ko to be able to stop it. Lumbo with the barrage, though, hopefully to follow it up.
Ko not in the fight yet, though. Ko on payload duty. Not going to be able to save them from this barrage coming out. And 2 down for a trade. I think we see Storybook Villains here just keep their positioning and get as much cart partners as they can while dying.
Yep, and that's
what
exactly
they do.
what we're seeing, and they
Healers will get out easily.
Yep. All right, Ko still has that beat for Varian. They are just in a stalemate right now. They're looking at each other down the barrel and just saying, hey, one of us is going to use the ult and the other one's going to follow it up. Lumbo swapping off of the Pharah onto the Reaper. You know, this enclosed space, much harder to get the Pharah value on. We'll see if they can provide the same value with Reaper.
Yeah. Good news is swapped over to Lucio, already close to beat his Big Muzzy.
Yeah, very close to beat. I like the Koa coming out. Oh, another ult from Sidev. Does a very good job.
And you saw Varian having to be so close to use that defense matrix-like ability. And as doing so, Sharpsoft's like, hey, I see you in front of my Reaper. Punches him right in the face. Sigma dies.
Yep. Sidev getting a very nice flank here to start this fight. Bishop coming on the Rhine. Very interesting.
Ryan is the stall hero, very popular now. Unfortunately,
not if he's smushed.
Yeah, Ryan smushed into that and looking very, very good for Storybook Villains, capping here with 10 seconds on the clock.
All right, you know, not that it matters in the same way that it would on 2CP or on hybrid maps, but having time on the clock, always good. You know, there's it's 12 seconds, which is not even enough to get a quarter of a fight in terms of like resets and everything, but you know, it's saying, listen, we finished this map, and we finished it in a non-negligible margin of error. So I'm very excited. I am hoping that we're going to see some stall strats. Essentially, I want to see Storybook villains just take fight after fight after fight and just take them fast. You know, they don't need to win this. They just need to stall it out until third and then win it. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I would really like to see. You said take lots of fights fast. I would rather them just take very long, extended fights. Go for a May on point. Get some blizzards in that just ruin their day. But we're not gonna see it. We're gonna see Widowmaker Bastion on attack and then meta for defense.
Yeah, listen. If I'm Burn right now, I look at what Storybook villains have been doing. Right now, they're setting up in the train cart. I'm excited. I would love to see
definitely a stall strategy viable.
Yeah, very, very viable. But if I'm Burn here, I throw out Limbo, just take a shot. You know, it's fun. It's Widowmaker. Maybe you get something free. But then you go back onto the Pharah because they haven't made any defensive changes to that. You know what I mean? It looks like they no, they haven't scouted out. All right, a nice ammo field coming out soon.
Yeah, huge fight coming out. Lieutenant Doge already down on the Bastion, gonna lose a bunch of damage here, and Lumbo is still alive, raining in, building up ult charge, but that was a clean fight.
Ooh, it was incredibly clean. And a late stagger from Muzzy and Lumbo. My gosh, let's look here. Sharpshot definitely building a lot of ult during that fight, did a lot of damage, punches the Sigma. I saw a lot of punches onto those tanks. Litcat building a lot of that coalescence too.
Lieutenant Doge forced off the Bastion because they cannot set up on the cart, which is a good call out from Storybook villains, knowing they want to run the Bastion, just not letting them get set up for Pirate Ship. And Sidev going to take the first pick on the Bishop. Good punch coming out, Lieutenant Doge taking out Sidev, and this is a really weird position to be in for Storybook villains. They're collapsed on from both sides, far in the back line, and the other DPS in the front line with the tanks. Another punch coming out onto Ko, but Lieutenant Doge will die for it.
While this fight is happening in the front line, Lumbo and Muzzy are pushing the cart. Nobody's stopping it.
They were able to get into the back line and sandwich that off. There's some good plays coming out from Storybook villains to stay alive that long, but once you're sandwiched like that between a rock and a Pharah place, I don't expect you to live very long. And Lumbo is going to have Barrage coming out of that. Maybe throws it out early here as they're kind of forced through this choke point.
Yeah, you can see that there's 3 on cart right now, trying to get this as far as they can, you know, past Big Earls before the other team arrives.
And quick picks coming out. I didn't even see how that happened. Sharpshot tries to land a slam, but I think Sharpshot's team just died straight up before the slam could even land if he wanted to. Yeah,
they tried to take a quick engage using the kinetic grasp onto the Bastion. But it looks like, you know, just Lumbo was just coming down from above, taking out heroes before Inaloka was able to stop the Bastion from doing everything.
And
but like I said, these close holds, they are doing wonders, I think. They are stalling for time.
you see Storybook villains just collapsing onto payload here. They'll take that ult. I would take that ult if I was Storybook villains. You knew you weren't going to get much out of this, you know, throwing your face at the payload except time. And they're still getting time off the clock here. 2 supports in the Reaper, very hard to clean up.
Yep. This is very good. I mean, they took Doge in that fight. They're still, I mean, this has been what, 20 seconds off the clock, just standing out here in front of, you know, this was a free fight and they got Barrage out of it. They had to wait for those doors to open anyways. This was best case scenario, I think, in terms of how you want to feed.
True.
This is truly tactical feeding.
Unfortunately, like you said, if they had gotten there before the doors had opened, they would have like added extra free time for the clock. I think that's what they're aiming for. They were just a little too slow.
Yep. Oh my gosh.
Doge getting a quick pick. And you see that Storybook villains is actually going to press on that because they know they just need to stall the cart. Unfortunately, stalling into a Bastion does not last very long at all.
No, it doesn't. They had success with it last time because Doge went down first, but you know.
And there are 5 ults available. You saw Bongo come out, which made that Bastion melt him even quicker, but 5 ults available for Burn. I don't see a second point hold coming out.
They are
already dead.
Yeah, Bull has died early for these couple of fights, and I think that That's just due to a miscommunication there. Inaloco should be able to handle that.
Big flux coming out.
Big
Not enough
flux,
damage
but
to finish it.
yeah. These are stalls, but there's still 2:30 on the clock when this thing's gonna go through.
It's true. And while I do like the concept of using flux to stall, I would have liked to see it held for some other ultimate with it, especially when you've got the spin to win available on side F.
Yeah, and Ko using that beat was definitely questionable too, knowing that Varian had the flux available. That's generally like a very binary decision. I save this for this. That is just what you do. Another quick engage here from.
We're gonna see Window come out. Volvol's actually in front of the Window, finally staying alive in this fight, and that gives Sidev enough room to get the Reap rolled off. And I think this is a fight win coming out. Laseki dropping low. Big Muzzy also dropping low. All right, good cleanup from Storybook villains, and they're gonna take much needed space. They were in a mode there of just collapsing and dying on cart, which they're able to get 20-30 seconds off at a time. But now that they're kind of stuck up on this corner, they can easily take minutes at a time with a couple of good ults. But a huge flux coming out to start, and that's going to take 2 immediately on the drop, and damage coming out on everyone else. Sidev and Ko try to stay on cart, but they're not going to be able to survive long with their team dead behind them.
They're doing pretty good in terms of what you can do in a 3v6 scenario. Oh, there it is. There's the cleanup. Yeah.
Yes.
And there was that fight win. Yeah, there was that fight when I was talking about earlier. Ko had used that beat, and so Varian was just uncontested. They just throw them into the air. Everybody fires at them. They come down and die.
It was that, but also they got like 5 flux there. You need to know that's coming and spread out. Big slam coming out. No value though. Sharp shot dangerously low. And now we're in a very spread fight. You see people Doomfist flying on either side. Coalesce is coming out from Laseki. Coalesce is also coming out from Litcat. Keeping both teams up for now, but aggressive positioning from Storybook villains. Good slurp. Sidev running in, being able to clean up the 2 supports here, and Varian's going to be the last one standing, taking everything they've got. And now, again, they're in a position to posture. This time with much better ultimates for doing so. They've got Flux available, and Oloco, and they've got Beat. If they don't commit Beat too early, they should be able to hold on here. I think Varian will have a Flux available before the end of the game. So, early Flux coming out, but Beat counters. And this fight hasn't really started yet. They're still kind of in a poking phase. Bongo's going to come out from Burn, build out some ult charge. Varian not building that quickly, though.
Mummo pulling us one, killing Sidev with it.
Dropping low though, having to fall back to the healers, and it's still somewhat of an even fight. Sharpshot needs to stay alive here. Getting dangerously low. Coalescence fired out from both sides. Sharpshot's gonna die from the corner without getting any picks. Ko though, champion of just bouncing on payload there, keeps them in the same spot. And even if they die here, they'll have another chance to contest the cart.
Yeah, definitely very good at that dying. Ooh, goodness, Sidev trying to get out. That's a bad move.
I don't think Sidev's gonna live.
Cart. Yeah.
Dying on cart gives it maybe another 5 seconds.
It was something. Anyways, yeah, so we've still got Flux coming out here from Varian. Yep, there it is.
Ko used Beat. No counter. It's gonna drop. Sharpshot's gonna die immediately to the Flux. And that's gonna put them at a really big disadvantage here. But they've technically won on time already, so there's that.
Yeah.
And it looks like we're going to a second round here, potentially to a map 5. Good plays from both sides.
Let's see the extra innings. I'm excited. Yeah. I'm putting Ko on the spot a lot here, saying, oh, he never has Beat ready for Flux, but it's really not on them because it's really a just you're hurting if you do and you're hurting if you don't. You know what I mean? It's you lose a fight because you're saving Beat for Flux, or you lose a fight later because you didn't save Beat for Flux. You know what I mean? It's they're being pressed upon so thoroughly that you really need to commit these beats, and so I don't think Ko should be harangued for that, like I think it may seem that I'm doing.
Yeah, that's the struggle. Like, that's why I used to hate playing support in the Lucio and Zen prominent meta. It's also why I play Ana. Like,
yeah,
you missed a nano, whatever. happens.
Yep, definitely one of those beat being one of those very powerful ultimates. So it looks like again we're going to see that that Storybook Villains is going to go for a close hold, and I think that Lieutenant Doge coming out on the May is a directed counter for that. They're going to throw that in there and just see if they can get the freezes and kills.
And this is a much more viable strategy, holding up on cart when there's only a minute on the clock, because they were able to get a minute off last time free.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, they're going to scout this. Yep, the scouting is there from Bishop.
Very wary of that.
Big wall.
Up. Lumbo coming out clutch, and they are stuck up against that wall. Sharpshot gets a pick on the Lazeki, but I don't think it's going to matter. The May freeze coming out clutch from Lieutenant Doge, something we haven't seen since the first map.
Yeah, Lieutenant Doge definitely showed strong there on the first map with the May. Are they swapping back? Did I miss that?
Yeah, they're going Bastion as fast as they possibly can, which is dangerous because Story Villains are almost back to the cart. Yeah, I think Lieutenant Doge will be able to set up though.
Yeah, they used an amp to get themselves back to the cart, so that'll be good. I really love the swaps here coming out from Burn.
Yeah, they've shown more flexibility definitely than Storybook Villains. And Storybook Villains going to drop right under the payload, maybe not realizing that Bastion is there. Bastion's going to clean up the tanks. Dropping low, needs heals, but not for very long because there's no one to shoot anymore.
Yeah, I think that Storybook Villains did recognize that, and that's why they took the fight in that way. You know, they came in there and they threw everything they had on top of that cart. Unfortunately, it was just on top of the cart, not at just the Bastion. You know,
True.
So they needed to deal with that Bastion instead of just sustain through it, which unfortunately they didn't. Another close hold attempt coming out here. I love it.
Yeah, unfortunately the doors are already opening and ults are gonna come out. Lumbo picking off 3. Lieutenant Doge dies, but it's kind of all for naught.
Yeah, too little, too late. All right. Lumbo definitely flexing on more than just the Pharah here. Showing the Reaper. Love it. Lieutenant Doge almost up to that Bastion ult, and Varian, I think, is going to be a huge playmaker here with this Flux. Inoloka, though, could definitely end this game if they can bait out the brick from Orisa early and then throw a Flux out.
That's true, but that's a lot to bank on. You see Sharpshot over on the May to maybe help against the Bastion. Fortunately, no Blizzard charge, so probably nothing big. Good Flux coming out, but there's still a contest on the cart. And really no picks happening from it. Here's a big ult from Sidev. Unable to finish up anything at the end of that, and Lumbo is going to take Sidev's life.
Yeah, Sidev coming up with so many clutch kills with that ultimate this game, or this series. But this one where I think it matters the most, they weren't able to get that final kill.
Yeah, I think Burn have adjusted well to that. They're positioning better around the Reaper ultimate, so not letting themselves get 5K'd.
Ko, where did Ko die?
Ko was trying to stall cart, I think, but that's not really where you want to stall.
You also don't need to stall cart. They're in overtime. What time are you burning? You're not.
Yeah, that's very fair. You can stall positioning before door, but Bulbul's already very low. Decides to just walk into cart. I don't know why. He's dead. Sidev also just dying on cart. And if there was a strategy there, I don't know what it was. The strategy was more viable when you're burning time, but now you're feeding ult charge.
Yeah,
I don't see them building to a big ult either.
I don't either. You know, Sidev going over onto their own Bastion, I don't think that's the answer. With their own beat, that definitely is helpful. They can use that to get onto the cart and throw. There's the
coming out. Koa counters, and Sidev's just gonna stand there shooting into Doge.
Doge down.
That'll get him off the cart. Lumbo dead as well, and this looks very promising for Storybook Villains. Fortunately, all of them very, very low, and Litcat can't heal them all at the same time. Varian, good stall here.
This should be a win.
Sidev rotate. Come on.
Sidev was just unloading. Put the stapler on the mouse. Walk away from the keyboard. You'll get the win eventually. Well, you'll get the stop eventually. This
is very rough.
And if you recall the first point for Storybook Villain's attempt, whew, that was a little painful to watch, I'll be honest.
Yeah, they've got some learnings from the first time they tried it, and I think that learning is get a big 5K Reaper ult. I don't know.
That seemed to be the solution that they've had for their entire first attack. Does Lumbo come back on the Pharah? The answer appears to be yes.
And we see mirror comp. Interesting. Not really interesting, but interesting.
Color me unsurprised, because it definitely appears that Storybook Villains doesn't have a hit scan player. They just don't. And going up a Pharah like Lumbo, you really, 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 really need one. So I am not surprised by this, just so that Sharpshot can duel Lumbo in the air and prevent the ult charge from coming out.
Yeah, I really hope your fortune cookie was true, because we have side dev this time showing the Sombra, and Sombra classical counter to Bastion. I don't know. It's going to be hard to get in position, and you actually see side dev swapping back to Bastion.
Yeah,
so
I think, yeah,
we got trolled again. I hate it. Just put up your shield and start shooting. Oof. Right, that finally making it on the cart. It's actually hard to get over the back of the cart. There's Bastion.
Yeah, especially when it's moving uphill. It's really annoying. All right, let's see.
And now we play whose shield breaks first. Scuff shield coming out from Bulbul's, and Side was in front of the shield, and that will cost them the first fight.
Yep. Unfortunately, there's only one left.
But it's in a bit of a precarious position and no shield available yet.
That is not. Oh, Inaloco should not have been there.
Inaloco, I think, thought shield would last a bit longer, and we have a pause coming out from Storybook Villains.
I'll be honest. If I'm Storybook Villains here, I would just run it out. Yeah. The pause isn't worth it. It's 30 seconds on the clock. That's all right, though. We're going to see this 30 seconds play out. Sharpshot definitely keeping up with the ult charge. 47% to Lumbo's 54%. Not that far off. I mean, the only other people that have any reasonable ult charge, Litcat with 67% on the BAP, and Lit Doge, or LT Doge, Lieutenant Doge, as it were. With significant, and Laseki.
This could be Storybook Villains' last fight of the series. Let's see how they started off. Bulbul's already pretty low, no shield available, but not drawing the fire anymore as Bastion just sets up in spot. They're going to take out Lieutenant Doge's Bastion, going to get res, but fight is already going in favor of Storybook Villains, and you see Bulbul's just AFK on cart right now.
Yeah, that's fine. Sometimes that's what you need to do as Orisa. Lumbo's still alive. Honestly, I think they should just be dying cart.
Or
getting
less discipline from Burn of dying on cart. We saw a lot of that from Storybook Villains last time, whether it was strategic or not.
Yes. This Pharah duel seems to be working out definitely in the favor of Storybook Villains. This is something I think they should have been doing a lot more.
Yeah, and even if you're not going up in the kill feed, a Pharah 1v1 distracts the other Pharah. And if the Pharah's not shooting your team, you're doing a good job.
Yeah, a May coming out from Lieutenant Doge right now. I'm excited to see this. I think it's going to be a May wall up into a barrage. I think that would be great to watch.
That's true, but you really need to land that, because Bastion known for snowballing, and we have side dev dropping quickly to the May wall, exactly as you said. Sharpshot's going to try to barrage, but Lumbo's...
This fight's even.
Dead.
This fight's even with no tanks on the side of Burn.
And Lumbo's barrage will come out. Also trades.
Stay on cart. Stay on cart.
Bull still available. No damage, but does have 2 healers. I'm hoping this sustain can last long enough. We have Side Dev coming back on the Reaper. Needs to kill this Lamp quickly. Lamp goes down, and Side Dev's on top of him now. Window coming out from Laseki, trying to keep Bishop alive, but Bishop's in front of the window.
Traded for Bullet Bowls, though.
Wow, that was a slobber knocker of a fight that we casted poorly. So let's go on to the next fight as they keep coming. Varianman's going to come on to point here. Kind of questionable, no main tank available. Varianman's actually just going to step out, regroup with healers in May.
Yeah, that was definitely a slobber knocker of a fight. You know, the DPS coming in late definitely made all the difference there for Storybook Villains.
Yeah, and we have Lumbo kind of zoned out by Sharp Shot's Pharah. Oh, Sharp Shot gonna die quickly. Ko goes for a quick res, maybe? No, Ko has to drop. No res. And the Blizzard might seal the deal for Storybook Villains. No one dead yet.
Loco committed the flux there, but got frozen out of the cast.
Yeah, and no ultimate for either side. Lit Cat's gonna drop. Side Dev's gonna drop. Oh, and that Bongo and Flux.
That's it. That is ults used in game 1. That's gonna be 3-1 Burn over Storybook Villains. A very exciting game. I think Burn definitely warmed up there a lot.
I think they realized the weaknesses in Storybook Villains' kind of strategies and flexibility.
Yeah. Ooh, Goomba stomped. Yeah, absolutely. They saw something that worked, and they were just like, well, you're not going to stop me from running it, so I'm just going to run it.
Yeah. And congrats to Burn.
Yeah, congratulations to Burn. I believe that's going to be the end of our cast. I had a fun time. Did you?
I had a great fun time, and this will be pretty big for the standings as I see them, because Burn... Did you get the standings correct? I think they were in the last seed, and Storybook Villains number 3 seed in the league right now for overall, not stage 2. So a crucial win coming off the kind of the start of stage 2. And you really got to credit Lieutenant Doge and Lumbo for having the flexibility to kind of outplay some of the DPS on the side of Storybook Villains.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the shot calling there, the space making was absolutely stellar. Both teams' healers, I thought, did a reasonable job. It's hard to talk about a Pocket Mercy into a Pharah, so what are you gonna do? But I thought the rotations were clean. I thought that even though this game didn't look super even towards the end, the beginning of it, the middle of it, I thought were pretty fun to watch.
Oh yeah, definitely. And like we said, the payload section was the most hyped part.
Yep. All right. So that is going to be our cast. Thank you so much for watching this tournament, the Owlet tournament. Again, that's Burn 3-1 over Storybook Villains. If you want to keep up with us, you can go to twitch.tv/calzone_live or twitch.tv/CarterVH. That's for both of us. Or you can just go to the website calzone.live. That will redirect you to whichever one of us is live.
Yeah. And keep up with the tournament, twitch.tv Owlet tournament. I believe there's still a main stream going on, No versus Go Again.
I believe it is.
If you're looking to scratch your Overwatch tournament itch, definitely check that out.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. This has been Calzone. We will catch you next time.
Signing off.